Hi everybody, Carmen here, and for this week's How Do I am going to talk about how do you pick the right sewing machine for a gift? Because this, of course, could be challenging. And so I wanted to take a few minutes and talk through the things that I think about when I'm giving a sewing machine as a gift and the things that you might want to think about. These things might also apply even if you're buying the machine for yourself as a gift. Because, you know, sometimes I do that during the holidays because I'm shopping and I find cool stuff for myself. Now you can see here, I have a lot of different sewing machines in front of me, and there are so many different beautiful sewing machines on the market today from all of the different brands. And if you've never seen any of them before, it can be easy to be like, well, which one do I get? What's the right thing? How is this one different than this one? So I'm just going to go over some of the basic things that I always look for in a sewing machine and some of my favorite features. So the first thing that I always want to know when someone says, hey, I want to buy a new sewing machine, is I ask them, what kind of sewing do you want to do? Because depending on the type of sewing that you want to do or the person that you're giving the machine to, that can affect which sort of machine you get them. Because sometimes you might want features that are really for garment construction. Sometimes you might want features like more space if you're going to be doing quilting. Those are the types of things, you know, think about. You know, the other thing I always ask people are, you know, do you have a sewing machine currently? What do you like about it and what don't you like about it? Because sometimes you can resolve some of those issues. You know, for instance, maybe you have a machine today that just has a hard time sewing on stretchy materials. Well, the new machine's really easy. They're going to handle all of the stretchy materials super well. So some of those things would be the other things I might find out to try to hone in on the perfect machine for whoever it is you're giving as a gift. So right here, I have a couple of different machines in front of me, and I just want to take some time to sort of show you some things that are going to be on pretty much all sewing machines today, and then also some of my favorite features, some of the features that I use every time I sew that I would not want to not have, if that makes sense. So we have very basic sewing machines all the way up to very top of the line sewing machines. And right now what I'm sitting in front of is a computerized sewing machine. It's called the NS80. And I love computerized sewing machines. There are still, of course, mechanical sewing machines on the market today, but those mechanical machines, there's dials to adjust the stitch width and length. What I love about a computerized machine is everything is right here, and it makes it really easy for you to see what you're doing. So on this machine, if I wanted to, I think I'm going to turn this way, and maybe we can zoom in a little bit on the screen here. So you can see a little bit more closely this screen right there. I'll turn it this way so you can see it a little bit better. And right here you can see I can really easily select my stitches. So if I want to go to stitch 5, all I have to do is dial over, select my stitch. I can adjust my stitch width and length right here. My reverse button is there. Tie off actually. So there's all of the things that are right here. It also tells me what foot I might want to use, but it's all here just as a quick touch, super easy to use. And then the other thing, I'm going to turn it more back this way so I can get in here. I want to show you the needle threader. So the needle threader on this machine is amazing. And this is one of those features that I feel like I have to have on my machine. So I'm just going to lay my thread in here like this. And I'm just going to push this down and voila, my needle is threaded. Just like that. I didn't have to, you know, lick my thread. I didn't have to try to get it in there. It was all done for me. Another nice feature of this machine is the lay and bobbin case. It makes it really easy for you to put that bobbin in and out. This pops up and the bobbin comes out and this slides back in. Very easy to use. And now let's do a little sewing so you can get some ideas of what I was talking about earlier as far as sewing on lots of different types of fabric. So this machine can allow you, and most machines are going to allow you to sew on thick fabric right onto really fine fabric. So I'm going to quickly just sew these two pieces of denim together. I'm using my start-stop button. There is a speed control right here, so if I wanted it to go slower. So for instance, if you're getting this for a child or something, there are speed control on here so you can adjust how fast or slow the machine's going to go. And then I'm going to take my 3 layers of denim here. Got some thread that I want to get off there. My 3 layers, and I'm going to go 6 and I'm going to go 9. So now it's like I'm hemming jeans and I going to change my stitch length there to 3, and I'm just going to start here. And the machine is going to just go up and over and through right on through that heavy fabric without a problem, and then I can even go straight on to this tricot without my machine slipping, sliding, puckering, or pulling, which is really amazing. And then there's a cutter here on the side, and you can see here how I went from the thick fabric to the fine fabric without changing anything. So you can see that, which is pretty awesome. So if we look back over here on at these other machines, you can see that this machine has a lot of ease of use features. So it sews on all types of fabric, which is amazing, something I would want in any machine. It has that needle threader, something I also would really want on a machine. It has a very easy to use interface. And then the final thing that I didn't mention, but I can show you here on this guy, is that it also has, when I'm starting to sew here, I can tell it to stop in my needle down position and then turn my corners, which is also incredibly handy. And that is one of my other favorite ease of use features. And so you can see here the sizes of the machines are also different. So this one has, a smaller size chassis here. And then as you go up in machines, there are lots of different, so I'm going to pull this Presto 2 forward here so you can sort of see the size difference. The Presto 2 is a larger machine and gives you a little bit more space to the right of the needle. And where this is handy, for having more space to the right of the needle, is handy when you have a lot of fabric, right? If you're quilting, if you're making curtains, even if you're making costumes and you just have a lot of fabric, you have more space to work with. And so this machine is similar to that NS80 in that all of the basic machines, most machines are going to have straight stitches, zigzags, hemming stitches. This guy also has some beautiful decorative stitches. It has beautiful one-step buttonholes. So for instance, if they're going to do garment construction, making sure you have a good buttonhole is really important. And these are beautiful, easy one-step buttonholes. And then this guy also has something that I adore. It has the thread cutters. And thread cutters are amazing. So I'm just going to start sewing here. And when I stop it, when I just click this button right here and grab thread cutters, it just cuts my threads for me. I love this feature. It is beautiful. It makes just a little simple tie off on the back. And it's definitely one of the features I use all the time. I use that needle up, needle down all the time. I use my thread cutters all the time. Amazing, easy features. But that is not all that the machines do. When we go up to like this one here, the B79, this guy is going to have all of the features we've talked about, plus it's going to have some more features. Okay, so it has, it has the thread cutters, just like the machine we saw over here, but it also automatically raises your presser foot. So that is pretty awesome. I can show you that again here. If we just do a little sewing, I'm just going to lower my presser foot because it has an automatic presser foot lifter. I'll hit my stop go button here. It's going to start sewing for me. And then when I stop, I can just cut my threads, and this one will also even raise my presser foot for me. So it cuts those threads perfectly and it raises my presser foot. Super easy, lovely. And then and you can see here, this one also has a larger screen. I'll turn it this way so you can see it a little bit better. Oh, I unplugged it. Let's plug her back in. There we go. She's turning back on. These machines, of course, do need power to work. So she's turning back on here. But the larger the touch screen, the more things you can do inside the screen. Almost all of the sewing machines today are going to be some version of a touch screen. So you are going to select the different stitches all right here on the face of the machine. You can see that the lighting came on, so there's beautiful lighting. And that is really also a nice thing. There's a lot more lighting in the heads of our machines, which is also really important. And then most machines are going to come with quite a few different feet. So it's also something to look for. They're going to come with your straight stitch, zigzag foot, blind hem foot, overcasting foot, zipper foot, quite a few different feet, which is very handy because then you have all of the basics that you need to get started. And that's really the key here. But now that we can see our beautiful screen, you can see I can just scroll through all the different stitches here. And if I want a stitch, I can select it and it shows me exactly on screen what my stitch is going to look like. And it will even show me as I make it wider or narrower exactly how I'm manipulating my stitch, which is pretty slick. And then the other thing I want to mention about this guy here is this dual feed feature. So we even have some machines that have really amazing feed dog systems. Lots of them have great feed dog systems. This one has, like all machines, that bottom feed dog that goes like this, but then it has the secondary feed dog right here that comes down. It goes like this and it holds all of your layers of fabric together. And that is really wonderful because once again, it helps when you're working on all different types of fabric and can be another feature you can look for in a machine. That is pretty awesome. The B79 is not only a sewing machine, but it is also an embroidery machine. Let me grab the embroidery unit here and show you here. So it's also an embroidery machine. And so it can do beautiful embroidery as well as sewing. If you're not interested in embroidery, so many cameras, you guys. We have a brand new studio. For those of you who've been watching us for a while, you probably noticed our studio has changed, and now I have 3 cameras to look at, and we're still learning all the ins and outs. So sorry if I'm not quite looking the right way. We're working on it, but it's super fun because hopefully also now we're able to get a little bit more detailed as we show you things for our different how do I's and all of the different videos that we are doing. So anyway, this guy has an embroidery machine, but this machine, the B79, is sewing, quilting, and embroidery, but it also has a little sister that's called the B77 that is just all of the sewing features. And both of these machines are Burnett's. Made by Bernina, and they are beautiful machines, and they have just a ton of ease of use features. There are so many fun things out there that sewing machines do today, whether it be looking for a basic sewing machine for a beginner or someone who just hasn't sewn in a while, or maybe a machine that does sewing, quilting, and embroidery. We have a lot of combination machines. There are also dedicated embroidery machines. So if somebody on your list maybe has a beautiful sewing machine, but it's like, hey, I want to do some embroidery, there are some lovely dedicated embroidery machines. And when you're looking at embroidery, part of what you want to look at is the hoop size. So like part of what's amazing about the B79 is it's coming with a 6x10 hoop. The most basic embroidery machines are going to come with a 4x4 hoop. So that would be, much smaller, more like this space here. A lot of them will come with 5x7. And then there are even machines that are going to have much larger hoops that are going to even have a larger embroidery area than 6x10. So that's something to consider if you're looking at an embroidery machine, either sewing and embroidery or just a dedicated embroidery machine. And then we also have tons of beautiful machines for quilting. I'm going to move the B79 so you can just see the machine that I have behind me here. This guy right here is called the Allegro. And what's great about this machine is look at all that space. There is so much space here. Like, I don't know if you can see in comparison as we have all the different machines here, you can see sort of the size difference, right? We have one machine here that's a little bit smaller, and then you go to this guy here, and then you go to this guy. This guy has 12 inches from your needle all the way to the side. That is about as big as the chassis get. So there's a ton of different sizes of machines based on what you are going to be doing. So the other thing I always like to talk about is support for after your purchase. At Quality Sewing, we do have a full series of YouTube videos where we teach you how to use the machine. And you can watch those at home, and it's a really helpful thing. So don't be intimidated if you gift somebody a new sewing machine, because if you live locally in the Seattle area, we offer classes in store. And this is anywhere really in Western Washington. But if you don't live locally, we also have a great YouTube channel that has tons of resources. And we have a whole bunch of how to use your sewing machine classes right there. So you could give somebody a beautiful gift of a sewing machine. They could go, they could open it up, and then they could go watch our YouTube channel, learn to use their machine, and be up and going right away. So I hope this was helpful. It is the holiday season, so we have tons of great deals on all sorts of different sewing machines, from the most basic to the most advanced. So give us a call or come into one of our store locations, and we would be happy to walk you through all of these different things and help you find the perfect gift for the sewer in your life.